You're in the middle of an argument, and you're not sad. You're angry. You're right. You're standing your ground. You finally have the words, and then it happens. Your eyes sting. Your throat tightens. The tears come. Now you look like you're falling apart, when inside, you are on fire. So, why does your body cry at the exact moment you need to look strong? You've already decided what it means. You're too sensitive. You're weak. You can't handle conflict like a normal person, and it's humiliating. Because the second the tears show, people soften their voices. They think you're hurt. They think you're backing down. When really, you were just getting started, and the worst part is the loop it kicks off in your head. Don't cry. Do not cry. Why are you crying? Which somehow makes the tears come even faster. Now you're fighting two battles at once, the argument in front of you and the one happening behind your eyes. So maybe you've started avoiding it, swallowing the anger, walking away from arguments you should be having, just so nobody sees you cry. But here's the thing, this doesn't happen when you're calm. It happens at the exact peak of the feeling. And that timing is the whole secret. Here's what's really going on. Every emotion you feel has a physical size, and your body has a limit, a threshold. When a feeling grows bigger than your body can hold, it has to go somewhere. It spills out. And one of the main release valves your body reaches for is tears. It's the same reason you might cry at a wedding, or from sheer relief, or when you're laughing too hard. Tears aren't the language of sadness. They're the language of overflow, whatever the emotion happens to be. Now here's why anger specifically does this. Anger is one of the most high-intensity emotions there is. It floods your body fast. Heart pounding, heat rising, everything switched to full power. So it hits that overflow line quicker than almost anything else. The tears aren't sadness. They're pressure. Your body venting a feeling that got too big to hold. There's even biology to it. Dao. Intense stress floods your system with chemicals, and tears are one of the ways your body flushes some of that surge back out. You're not breaking down, you're literally discharging pressure. But there's a deeper reason, and this one matters most. Anger is almost never the first feeling. It's the armor. Underneath it, there's usually something softer and more raw. Feeling hurt, feeling unheard, feeling powerless, or wronged or not taken seriously. Anger rushes in to protect that tender thing so you don't have to feel how exposed it is. But the tears come from underneath the armor. They leak out the very thing your anger was trying to hide. That's why it feels so exposing. It isn't the anger leaking out. You'd be fine with that. It's the soft, unguarded thing underneath, suddenly visible to everyone in the room. And for a lot of people, there's one more layer. If you grew up being told anger wasn't okay, that good people stay calm, that raising your voice is bad, then you learned to clamp down on it. But the feeling doesn't disappear. It builds, and pressure that isn't allowed out the front door finds another way out. For many people, that exit is the eyes. And notice when it's worst, when you feel like you can't get through, when you're right, but no one is listening. That specific maddening mix of anger and powerlessness is the fastest way to overflow, because now you're not just angry, you're angry and trapped. It's the feeling of holding a truth that no one will receive, and that has to go somewhere. And here's what changes everything. You're not crying because you're weak. You're crying because the feeling is simply too big to fit inside the anger. Tears during anger aren't a sign you can't cope. They're a sign of how much this matters to you. Your body doesn't overflow for things you don't care about. The people who never cry in an argument aren't stronger than you. Often, they've just stopped letting themselves feel that much. And here's the deeper truth. If anger is the bodyguard, the tears are what it's been guarding all along. The hurt, the caring, the part of you that just wanted to be heard. Your anger was trying to look tough, but your body decided to tell the truth instead. The tears aren't you falling apart. They're the most honest thing in the room. Here's the trap. The moment the tears start, most people do the worst possible thing. They get angry at themselves for crying. So now you've stacked shame on top of the anger. And that's more emotion, more pressure, more overflow. You've poured fuel on the exact fire you were trying to put out. Then there's the misread. Because tears look like sadness, the other person thinks you're hurt, or giving up, or being dramatic. when you're actually asserting yourself. So you feel even less heard, which makes the feeling even bigger. The very thing you're crying about gets worse. You came to be taken seriously, and now you're spending all your energy trying to prove you're not falling apart instead of making your point. And the biggest cost is long-term. If crying feels humiliating enough, you start avoiding every situation that might trigger it. You stop defending yourself. You let things slide that shouldn't slide. And slowly, quietly, you hand away your own voice just to avoid a few tears. And every time you swallow it, the anger doesn't leave. It goes underground and turns into resentment that leaks out sideways later at people who didn't even cause it. So what do you actually do? Not stop the tears. You usually can't, and fighting them only makes it worse. You change your relationship with them. 3 moves. 1. Stop being angry that you're crying. The tears aren't the problem. The shame you stack on top is. Let them be there. The moment you stop fighting them, the pressure stops building. Half the flood was always just you fighting the flood. 2. Say it out loud to whoever's there. I'm not upset. I'm angry. This is just how my body handles strong feelings. That one sentence does 2 things. It stops them misreading you, and it hands you your power back. You're not falling apart. You're explaining yourself. 3. Ask what the anger is protecting. Underneath, is it hurt, feeling unheard, feeling powerless? That softer thing is the real message. Name it, out loud or just to yourself, and say the true sentence, I felt dismissed, or that really hurt me. The truth underneath is always more powerful than the armor on top. People can argue with your anger all day. It's much harder to argue with, that hurt me. So the next time you're angry and the tears show up, don't be ashamed of them. They were never proof that you're weak. They're proof that you're honest and that this matters to you more than you were letting yourself admit. Let them come. Say what you mean, and trust that your body was just telling the truth a little louder than your words could. There is nothing here to be fixed. A body that feels things deeply isn't a malfunction. It's just one that's still fully awake. And if your body surprises you like this, you've probably noticed it does something even stranger. It makes you tear up at things that aren't even sad. A song, a kind gesture, a stranger's story. That's the next one. I'll see you there.